Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for braving the weather, and on behalf of the University of Houston Athletic Department, I would love to welcome the Board of Regents, the alumni, the boosters, Cougar fans all over, and of course, most of all, the players, also the media as well. We'll open things up for Q&A for you guys coming up in just a little while, but we're all celebrating a huge step for this University of Houston football program in the right direction, and we're going to start things off. I want to introduce you the chairman of the University of Houston Board of Regents, Tillman Fertitta.
Thanks everybody for coming out on this beautiful Friday afternoon, but it is beautiful for the University of Houston. I've been around for a long time, involved with University of Houston, and I can't tell you, and we've gone through a bunch of coaches, guys, and y'all know it, but not since Jack Pardee, I think I've personally been excited, and a lot of people that are involved with the University of Houston program. I really think we did it right this time. I really do, and I can guarantee you one thing, we're going to win. We got the right guy, and you will look back on a few years from now, and you will remember we got the right guy. But I think our chancellor and our athletic director, nobody wants to win more than them, and they made sure we got the right guy this time. I want to thank the two of them for getting us in the right direction. I want to thank a couple of our Board of Regents, in particular Spencer Moore and Jarvis Hollingsworth, who also helped us with this process. And if we want to talk about business and the economy, I'll stay up here a little longer, but y'all want to talk about football, so I'm going to move on. So, Chancellor.
Well, how about a big hand to the band? Well, good afternoon, everyone. What a great day it is for the University of Houston. Stadium looks beautiful even on a rainy day. It looks just beautiful. Today is very special because it's also graduation today. I was just there this morning, shook 1,000 plus hands, and we'll be back again there shaking another 1,000 hands, and tonight another ceremony. In between, we have this great, exciting event because, as I've always said, we are building here a nationally competitive university, a Tier 1 university. And when you are a Tier 1 university, you have your dreams and hopes and expectations of absolutely highest kind in every single field. Athletics is very important, and I know football is very important. We've got our great team here. A big hand to my team, too. Wonderful job. Now, I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Herman as a candidate. And I just want to confess to you that I just like to see fire in the belly. He surely has fire in the belly. When I saw him the first time, I knew he's got fire in his belly. Actually, he wants to win more than I want to win, and that's the kind of person I like to have on my team. So, Coach Herman, I just want you to know the winning is very important. And I just want you to know, I know the football also, okay? And that means, and I'm there every single game as well, and I might be at the sideline too. I wish I could put in his contract. I tried, I think, Mac, didn't I try to put in the contract that I could call one play at least every game, but just didn't work out, but that's okay. We are so excited to have you here, and I know you bring for us here not just a great talent in terms of coaching, but you also bring us a hope, a dream, and that competitive edge. That's what we are hungry here for. Our fans and this city and this state, just wonderful. You know the state anyway, and you know the city, but you don't know our fans as well. And now that you will meet them, you will realize, I mean, they will love you. They will give you all the support that you need, and all they want is for you to be a great team player with them, and I know you're going to be. So we are just very excited, very fortunate to have you. And it's not just the coach, because with the coach is the whole family. So Michelle, welcome here to the Cougar Nation, and the three just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful kids. We are so happy to have you here in the Cougar Nation. It's a great day for the University of Houston, and I know it's a great day for athletics. It's a great day for the city of Houston. Now, I just want to make sure we do one other exercise, because we had a commencement ceremony, which is very academic, serious ceremony. And students always stop in the middle, and they make sure they cheer whose house, Cook's house. I mean, that is very important here. So I know we've got students here, and I know we've got fearless student leaders here. So Cedric and Charles, come on, get up and cheer. Start with the whose house. I want to hear that, feel that. Come on, get up. All right, go.
Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house?
Right. Our students are a big part of the spirit here. I mean, they are the big part of this team here that we have assembled, and we do have 8,000 residents capacity here now on our campus, which means we are the second most residential campus in the state of Texas. And I think we have every tool here, and we are here to help you, Coach, and we are here to follow your orders. I will never call any play, but I just want you to win. So thank you very much, and welcome to the Cougar Nation.
She doesn't call any plays, but she will have a headset on game day, just letting you know. All right, a man that looks more rested than I've seen him in quite some time. I want to introduce Mac Rhodes, Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics. Mac.
Well, I am glad that this is over. Where's Amy? Amy, we can now get a Christmas tree. So, but it has been a great process, and so many people helped us throughout the process, and certainly I want to recognize those individuals. But before I do, I want to ask our young men, our football team, who are going to a second straight bowl game. We're going to represent the University of Houston versus Pittsburgh on January 2nd. If you guys would stand up and let us give you a round of applause. All right, you can sit down. I want to thank Dr. Couture. As you know, she is so passionate about our athletics program, has been just a tremendous support to me personally, but also to our coaches and our student athletes. So Dr. Couture, thank you so much. To Chairman Fertitta, who again from the very beginning, was behind in part of this process. And truth be told, I brought one candidate to meet both the Chancellor and Chairman Fertitta, and hope that they liked him, and obviously they did, and we couldn't be more pleased. We have some regents with us. I know that Chairman Fertitta recognized Regent Armour and Regent Harlingsworth, but also Regent Wilson is with us. We have some former regents, Regent Smith, Regent Hermes. Thank you for sitting next to each other. That made it easier for me. Appreciate that. We have the SGA president, who just did a pretty good job of leading us into Coog's house. Charles Haston, would you stand up, Charles? Just thank you for, if you looked at our 7 home games, and you looked at the student section, really, other than the last game, which kicked off at 11 a.m., and as we all know, we were college students, there couldn't be a worse time than to kick off a football game at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning. But our students packed the student section every game other than that game, and really, really appreciate our students and everything they did. Coach Yeoman is here somewhere. I will do that. Coach Yeoman gave me permission to officially announce this today, but Coach Yeoman and the Yeoman family donated a sizable amount of money to the football stadium, and so the club area over in the corner where I'm pointing will now be called the Bill Yeoman Club, and we couldn't be more proud. Thank you, Coach Yeoman. I also think Regent Shaw is here with us. Regent Shaw, thank you for being here. CEO of TDCU, a person that is certainly needs to be thanked just for what a great partner they've been with us on the stadium. Stephanie Sherrod is here. Stephanie. And I know Ron and Carolyn Yokobitis are here. They are the catalysts, the very special people that really made this stadium a reality. And I don't know where Ron and Carolyn are. Ron and Carolyn, thank you both. They wouldn't miss it. They came in from Austin last night. So thank you. And our President of our Faculty Senate is here as well. Would you please stand up, Maria? Thank you. Again, I talked about the search process, and this is a testimony to everybody in this room and what you all have collectively done to make us and put us in a position to really excel in the future. We had an unbelievable candidate, our pool of candidates. We really did. We talked to a bunch of different people, throughout the country. We did it extremely fast. We had 2 donors, and I don't want to mention their name, that allowed us to use their planes so that we could go back and forth and back and forth. And I think our first interview with Coach Herman was on Tuesday night at 10 o'clock, and I think we ended at about 2 a.m., did we not? And it certainly, he did pretty good in the interview. So, I walked away from that, and I said, one, he's smart, okay? He certainly knows how to recruit, because his wife Michelle was there. He absolutely knows football. We talk about that competitive fire, and him and I kind of locked eyes, and I said, this is somebody that wants to win as bad as I do, or I want to win as bad as he does. And the competitive fire, but the process and the plan and the vision that he has for this program was tremendous. Hunter Yurachek and Jeremiah Dickey were with me throughout the process. I want to thank those 2 gentlemen as well. But Coach Herman is the right person for this job. He's a man of integrity. He's got a great family. He will be proud to wear or to put the UH on his chest. He will be proud to represent this university nationally. Coach Herman wanted this job, and when we talked to him, certainly I think it was 5, 6, 7 years ago that he earmarked this job. This was the job that he wanted, and he wanted to be here. So he certainly is the right person. He is the right man, because he knows how to lead young men. Our young men will not only be successful on the field, but they'll be successful off the field with him. He certainly is the right fit. 11 years in the state of Texas. His connections. I received multiple emails from high school coaches just speaking on his behalf, and some of them even said, I'm not even trying to get a job. So, I mean, just great support throughout the state of Texas, and certainly he's the right coach. When you look at the people that he's coached under, when you look at what he's done offensively, okay, and certainly you can't be just mediocre if you're getting ready to go play Alabama in the semifinals. And he absolutely, when you talk about bright minds in this business, the first name that comes up is Coach Tom Herman. So with that, I certainly want to welcome Michelle and Priya and TD, and Maverick has his back to me, but I want to wish or welcome the Herman family to the UH Athletics family and introduce Coach Tom Herman as our next head football coach.
Thank you very much. A couple of things I gathered from Dr. Couture and Mac talking. One, Michelle, we are not getting a Christmas tree just yet. We've got some unfinished business to do back home. And two, if you have the opportunity to shake Dr. Couture's hand, you might want to put some hand sanitizer on first, because she's apparently gotten a lot of germs on that hand throughout the day. So let me start by saying I first want to thank, that's sinking in just now over there, right, the band? You get it now? I want to thank Dr. Couture. I want to thank Chairman Fertitta. I want to thank the rest of the Board of Regents. I also want to thank Mac Rhodes. Their vision and leadership are second to none, and is something that absolutely makes Cougar football one of the premier programs in the country. I want to thank my wife, Michelle. It's unbelievable. I've outkicked my coverage. I can't believe that I was able to recruit that close to 20 years ago, but I did. And here's the kicker: she's really smart too, so it's unbelievable. So thank you, Michelle. This has been a wild ride, and you do an unbelievable job and a thankless job with our family. I also want to thank the great head coaches that have come here before me, from Coach Yeoman to Coach Sumlin to Coach Briles to Coach Levine. They have paved the way for a bright future for Houston Cougar football. And I finally, as Mac alluded to, I finally want to thank all of the high school coaches in the great state of Texas that rallied behind me, that lent their support and their voice throughout the search process. Let me say this: I am excited to be the head football coach of the University of Houston. Okay, I am fired up. Okay, this is a dream come true for me and my family. I have always admired this program from afar. I really have, and it is really surreal almost to know that now I will be leading the charge. And I've learned many things, a couple things in my 16 years as an assistant. Most of them, a lot of them, were the last 3 years under head coach Urban Meyer, who is a fantastic mentor to me, one of the great champions in our great sports history. One of those things that I learned is you better compete every single day in everything that you do in order to be successful. And that is from the time you wake up and brush your teeth until the time you lay your head down on the pillow, and every now and again you might want to compete in your dreams too. But we will compete at the University of Houston. 2, the toughest team always has a chance to win the game regardless of talent. Regardless of talent, we've got a ton of talent over there, and we will recruit some of the finest talent in the state of Texas, that I can promise you. But one thing we will be tough. We will be physically and mentally tough, and that comes from preparation, and that comes from training, and we have the ability to be the most physically and mentally tough team in America. The third thing, the player-coach relationship is built on earned trust. And right now I met with our team this morning, I asked them to trust me. That's really, really hard to do. You're a 19-year-old young man, your college career might be kind of flipped on its side a little bit right now, and you've got this guy coming in for a 15-minute meeting asking you to trust him. And so, again, I ask you guys to trust me. Trust the plan, trust the process, and eventually that trust will go from blind trust to earned trust, and we will build championships here together. And I will give you every single tool by any means necessary, whatever it takes to be successful, not only on the field, but off the field and in life as well. We will be exciting to watch. I'm sure I'll get a lot of questions on that. We will be exciting to watch. Our enthusiasm from our players will shine through with our aggressive style of play on offense, on defense, and on special teams. The city of Houston needs a hometown college football team to be proud of. Everybody keeps telling me, yeah, thank you. Everybody keeps telling me about all the pro sports teams in the city of Houston, and they do a great job. You know, there is nothing wrong with that. But the city of Houston deserves a hometown college football team to be proud of, and we will do everything. Again, we will exhaust every opportunity, and we will take any measure necessary to make sure that the city of Houston is proud of this college football team. We've got a long way to go, okay, but the expectations have been set very high and should be. We've got a long way to go. Let me reiterate that. We've got a long way to go. We've got some culture things to change. We've got a vision that needs to be aligned throughout the staff and throughout the department, and that takes time. Culture change takes time. But I will tell you this, the expectations of winning and competing for championships in the months of November and December are expectations that I as well feel are reachable here in the near future. So again, I want to thank you, and I'm excited to be the head football coach of the University of Houston, and we will give the city of Houston and the great state of Texas a college football team that it can be proud of. Go Cougs!
At this time, we'll open up questions to the media. If you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for the microphone.
Coach, how have you and Urban worked out the situation of having your mind on Bama and also your responsibilities here with the staff and getting those guys out to recruit?
He got me a month-long supply of No-Dos and Red Bull. We put together a plan right when we knew that this was a possibility. We put together a plan to where for a certain amount of hours a day I can spend on the University of Houston and things that I need to do, securing a staff, to calling recruits, to everything from filling out human resource paperwork. And so, and when those hours are up, I put those to the side and I go in and we game plan and we prepare to beat Alabama. And does it make the workday a little bit longer? It certainly does for me, but that's to be expected, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I thank him, I thank Mac for allowing me the opportunity to see this thing through with the kids that I've built such a strong relationship with, and feel like I owe it to them to help them reach their dreams of a national championship.
And Chancellor Couture, you've mentioned this being a top-tier national university, which you've helped build. He's mentioned competing against pro sports. Will you see to it that the advertising and marketing budget is commensurate with what should be against the fight that the University of Houston has to fill this stadium and the new Hawthorne's Pavilion?
I don't commit to any kind of budget here, but I can commit to you that our marketing and advertising and promotion, whatever needs to be, is going to be absolutely top tier. That's what it needs to be in everything possible.
Tom, right here. I just curious, Mac earlier in the week after they announced it, mentioned that during the meetings you had a kind of a layout of a detailed plan of what you wanted to see this program or where to see it go. Can you kind of share a little bit of during the interview process how you sold yourself and the vision for this program?
Yeah, well, I think the vision is shared by the leadership. The leadership is unbelievable here already, from the administration, from Dr. Couture to Mac, and that vision, as you ask, is to compete for and win championships. Now, how we get there's going to be a lot of different roadmaps to get there, a lot of different ways to get that done, but we have to have a unified culture within our team, within our program, and within the athletic department that recognizes the value of hard work, it recognizes the value of physical and mental toughness, and it recognizes the value on trust and brotherhood within the team. And so, without getting too specific and without going too far into detail, I think, you know, your behavior is driven by your culture. And so to attack the behavior, to attack something that one of the players does or one of the coaches does is maybe a little bit short-sighted. I think when you're trying to correct things or you're trying to enhance things, don't look at the behavior, look at the culture, because culture drives behavior. And when you start diving into the culture, some things might get a little uncomfortable, some things might get a little confrontational at times, but ultimately a championship culture is built. And so and then how is the culture built? It's built through the leaders. And so right now we've got two great leaders from the top down. Hopefully I can make a third of that leadership team and create a championship culture.
Tom, right here, you called University of Houston a sleeping giant. Some thoughts about that?
Yeah, I always have. Like I said, I wasn't. That was not hyperbole when I said that I admired this program from afar. I thought with the administration that's in place, with the absolute transformation of this university in just the last 5 to 6 years under Dr. Couture's leadership, and with the new stadium being built, and you couple that with being in the city of Houston and the unbelievable high school football that is played here in the city of Houston and throughout the great state of Texas, it just, to me, screams of the ability to go win championships. Now, that needs to be tempered a little bit, because I think anytime you make change, there's going to be some uncomfortability and some adjustment. And so we've got to fast forward our way through that as much as we can and get to the final product in the fall. But there'll be some bumps in the road, that I can promise you. But I do feel like the pieces are in place here to compete for championships.
Tom, you said you seem to be emphasizing Texas as far as recruiting, but the reality is, and you were very instrumental in making Ohio State a significant player in Texas. You know that every SEC team poaches Texas, UT. How do you have a plan to recruit outside of Texas, knowing that there's so many people that are vying for Texas talent, being at Ohio State, being under Urban Meyer with such a vast recruiting plan? Do you have a plan to go outside of the state, or do you feel that it's adequate within?
Well, I think it's adequate within, certainly. I think there's plenty of high school football players in the great state that we can go compete against with a lot of teams in terms of recruiting and what we have to offer young men coming out of high school. So I don't think you got to stray too far. I think maybe the bordering states, we might put a guy in Louisiana or a guy in Oklahoma, maybe a guy in Arkansas, but beyond that, unless a kid initiates the interest in us, I don't know that you need to really go any farther than this great state.
Tom, I think you've described yourself as a Division III guy from how the things worked out for you in your career. But when you look back at where you started, Texas Lutheran, and kind of going through the steps to get to this point with your first head coaching job, can you kind of share with us the road, the journey, and just to be at this point?
I want to ask her. She had endured a lot more than I did. I just kind of put it on autopilot and went. Yeah, it's been challenging. It was but I did promise her when we got married. I promised her a life less ordinary, and I think I've lived up to that promise. It has certainly been anything but ordinary. And you know, anytime you go from humble beginnings, which I'm very proud of, to be honest with you. I'm proud of my time at Texas Lutheran. I'm very proud of my time at Sam Houston State. We finished 4th in the nation twice in my 4 years at Sam Houston State. I'm proud of my time at Texas State. I'm proud of my time at Rice and at Iowa State. Those stops along the way, I think, have allowed me to realize that it's the little things that matter, and it has also allowed me to realize that in order to be successful with limited resources, you need to be creative, and you can't make excuses. You can't make, you can't decide to throw your hands up in the air and say it can't be done. No is not acceptable. I can't is not an answer. In fact, we say that in our household. Herman's, that word is banned from our vocabulary in the Herman household is can't. You know, we find a way to get things done, and I think when you start from humble beginnings like that, it really teaches you the value of finding ways to get things done.
Coach, you guys at Ohio State, you guys run a spread offense, very high tempo. You've been dubbed as a quarterback whisperer by a lot of folks. How true do you feel that is, and have you seen a lot of film, and what do you feel like you're going to bring to UH? What style of offense is going to be similar to Ohio State?
Yeah, I think it will be similar to Ohio State. I think one of the things I'm most proud of, when we first got to Ohio State, we had a core belief in offensive system. We wanted to be spread. We wanted to be in the shotgun. We wanted to be up-tempo, no huddle, and where that fit and what runs or what passes or the plays were insignificant at that point. We just said, these are our core beliefs. Now, let's go evaluate what we currently have on the roster and figure out how do we move the ball by still adhering to the core tenets that we believe in on offense. And my first year at Ohio State, we couldn't throw it from me to you, and we made no bones about it. I mean, we were really, really not a very good throwing team, but we had a very athletic quarterback. We had a great tailback and a good offensive line, and we kind of tweaked and twisted our offense to suit their strengths, and we wound up 12-0 and set a bunch of records doing it this year. And then as we move forward, we recruited the skill positions better. We developed our quarterback position better, and after 3 years, you see now we're setting records not in rushing, but for touchdown passes in a season, for completion percentage in a season. I think we finished second in the country in passer efficiency. So we've really improved that part of the offense throughout our tenure at Ohio State. But I think that takes time, and I think where coaches maybe fail a little bit is to pound their fist on the table and say, this is what we do, this is how we're going to do it. Whoa, 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 let's figure out what our kids can do. Let's figure out what our players do best, and let's mold the offense around what they do best without straying too far from your core beliefs and tenets.
Tom, you talk about winning championships, and I'm assuming you mean national championships. And can you get there without being in a Power 5 conference? And if that's the case, Mac, what's the roadmap for getting there? And Dr. Couture, how important is that to you to get there?
I was talking interstellar championships, actually. I don't know where you got this. Why would you set your sights so short on national championships? I was actually talking about championships in general. I certainly don't want to pigeonhole myself into a comment that I'll regret other than interstellar championships. But we've got to win our conference before we can win anything beyond that. And so I think that's goal number one for us and this football team, is to put a product out there on the field that can compete for our conference championship.
You know, and I think in terms of the future of our athletics program, we want to be the best we can be. You know, we're in a great conference right now. We've got great respect for the institutions that are in it and that we compete with, you know, every season. But we're never, ever going to limit ourselves. Our goals, our vision, our dreams are big, okay? I've talked about this athletics program being nationally relevant, okay? And we're not going to stop until our football program, our basketball program, our baseball program, softball program, all of our programs are nationally relevant. I believe that this athletics program is a top 20 athletics program in the country, and we're not going to stop until we get there. And I certainly think football, we can grow and build a program, okay, with Coach Herman leading it, that we can play, again, for championships every year. And when you see the ESPN ticker going across and everybody's waiting Tuesday night in terms of the college football playoff rankings, you're going to see the University of Houston.
Tom, working with following up on that, how about your out-of-conference schedule? What do you plan, you and Mac put together, and will you keep playing Rice every year?
That's something we haven't discussed tremendously. I know we'll work hand in hand with the future schedule that has not been set or guaranteed just yet. The battle for the Bayou Bucket is a bit near and dear to my heart, so we'll see where we're at on that, but it certainly has to fit in the grand scheme of things when it comes to scheduling.
And again, I think, you know, right now when you look at our scheduling model the next 5 years, we are playing or have scheduled 2 games against autonomous 5 teams. So, and we've tried to do it where, you know, one's on the road, one's at home, and we'll continue to develop that model. And, you know, as your program grows, so does your schedule. And we want to play, you know, you can't be top 20, top 10, top 5 unless you're playing top 20, top 10, top 5. And we want to compete against the best. I know that, you know, our 120 young men there, they want to compete against the best. And that's really just in terms of our philosophy and where our schedule is now and hopefully where it'll head.
Okay, is there one aspect of the team that jumped out at you that said, you know, we need to fix this or we need to change this right away?
Well, the short answer is no. I'm just trying to keep my head above water enough to breathe to take a deep breath. So that evaluation process will happen in the future. Right now, I told the team this morning they have a really big task, and that task is to go represent the University of Houston in the Armed Forces Bowl and come out with a win. You get an opportunity to play on national TV in front of hopefully thousands of crazy Cougar fans in person, and they need to go represent their brand and their university and their team and send the seniors out the right way, and we'll evaluate, you know, throughout the off season. We got plenty of time for that.
Coach, you mentioned earlier a lot of your responsibilities right now are planning the new crew to bring on to UH. Have you had any discussion about guys you're bringing on? Have you talked to David about bringing him back next year, or any other coaches on the current staff?
Yeah, the coaching staff, the current coaching staff will be evaluated. My plan is to come back early next week and meet with each coach individually, should they choose to. And we've had some discussions, myself and Mac, on some other guys, bringing some fresh faces to the staff. And specifically to your question about David Gibbs, I think I'm going to do everything I can to try to keep him around. Obviously, you know, he's a guy that's probably in very high demand out there, and we understand that. They've played some really good defense around here for the last couple of years, but it's my goal to make sure that he stays on staff. And obviously very well liked.
At this time, we'll wrap up the Q&A. Media, if you need stand-ups with any of the 4 speakers up here, we'll knock those out on the floor at this time. Thank you.